When Zoro said that he was going to cut Pica in half last chapter, I don't know, I guess I just assumed that it was going to be a vertical cut. Instead it's kind of horizontal cut, then a vertical, then the arm, a couple of cuts there. Jinbei finds a poneglyph. That was important. He's going to have to carry it all the way to Nico Robin, because I'm pretty sure he can't read that shit. Unless he copies the stuff on a notebook. That'll work. If you want a summary of the dialogue of this chapter, it's basically Pica saying, "Hey King Riku, you suck. You suck really, really bad." And then King Riku saying, "I can't hurt people." So I guess we now know where Rebecca got her ways from. So long story short, I think Kiros should be king after this arc. Because Pica, even though Pica's a douche, he wasn't entirely wrong. Like, a king requires you to hold a certain amount of power so that you can maintain that position. Because if you can't protect your citizens, what good are you? Kiros should be king. He's King Riku's son-in-law, so that kind of works out. And people respect him because of the Colosseum. So if that happens, I think it works out for the best for everyone involved. Orlumbus throwing Zoro. Listen, this is kind of why I miss Sanji. Because you know if Sanji would have been there, he would have power shot Zoro, no problem. But I do like the fact that it's kind of like, okay, this is what happens. I mean, you're not always going to be together. Realistically, as a crew, shit's going to happen. So I like the fact that the Straw Hats are learning, in this arc, they're learning to depend on other people. And we've seen that with most of the Straw Hats. We have Usopp depending on Viola so that he can make his shot. We have Frankie depending on the Tontada to destroy the factory. And they have to be the ones to destroy the factory now because Elisabello just used his punch. And then Zoro in this chapter depending on Orlumbus and Elisabello. What did you think about Elisabello using his punch on the rubble though? Because he does get pissed off at the end. It's like, oh man, you just used me to take out the trash. Something pretty cool that I liked about this chapter was that for the first time, we see Zoro coat his swords with armament Haki. You can see all of them, like they're black because of the coating. And I like the sound effect that is used on some lightsaber shit. You hear them go zoom, 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 over the 9 mountains and the 8 seas. Isn't there supposed to be 7 seas according to pirate lore? Isn't it 7 seas? Whatever. Ichida Sansen, Daisen Sekai! Which translates to the Great Thousand Worlds. I mean, the name, if you read it out loud, it sounds totally epic, badass, like a 100% certified Zoro move. I still would have wanted Zoro to land on Pica's head and slice him downward. You know, on some Trunks and Frieza shit. But I do understand why the cut needed to be like this and then like this. It's because the point of the move was to isolate Pica and keep him in the air so that he couldn't move around anymore. And that's kind of the thing that's a little bit disappointing about Pica because he literally spent this entire time hiding. Because if his original body had gone up against Zoro, it's basically a one-hit KO. Granted, he still looks better than Diamante, you know, because Diamante couldn't use full body armament Haki. I kind of got reminded of Law versus Virgo because, you know, that's the last thing that Virgo does. You know, in his fight with Law, it's like, I'm gonna go full body armament. And then that's it. He's done. I'm glad that I brought this up because Virgo is the example of a character that can use full body armament that is incredibly intimidating. And Pica's just basically meh. And see, this is the difference. The difference between these two characters is the fact that Oda, when it comes to Virgo, we've seen his feats. Punk Hazard. Virgo was about to crack Sanji's leg. During the flashback, the Corazon flashback, I think Virgo is pretty much responsible for killing Corazon because of all the internal bleeding he caused him. And then you have Pica, who's been basically playing hide and seek throughout this entire arc. So I guess my question is, does size matter? Zoro looked fucking epic. And that's something that, I mean, if you're a One Piece fan, you've grown to expect that from Zoro. So the chapter by itself, I thought was pretty fucking good. However, I do think that the time that it took for us to arrive at this point, given the outcome, went on for a little bit too long. The time that we spent waiting in line to get to this was a little bit too long, in my opinion. Hopefully Doflamingo turns out to be a more worthy antagonist for the arc, combat-wise. And he is. We've seen some of his feats. Plot twist, the real villain of this arc is Bellamy. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did, I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece reviews. Thank you guys.